So hello everyone and welcome to part 4 of our candidate Q&A session this evening. For anyone who has just joined us, welcome to Winchester Student Union's spring elections. My name is Tiff Burnett. I'm the Student Engagement Manager here at the Student Union. I'm also Deputy Returning Officer for the elections and I will be hosting tonight's Q&A. So this is a 4-part pre-recorded Q&A with all of your candidates. Do be sure to check out our other 3 videos to make sure you're hearing from our presidential candidates, as well as your Vice President Education and Welfare candidates and your Vice President Activities candidates. So last up this evening, we have your Student Officer candidates. To start with, you will hear a 90-second speech from each candidate, followed by a short question and answer session where candidates will have up to 1 minute to answer a question which has been pre-submitted by our members through our Ask a Candidate online form. So before we begin the speeches, here are a list of all the candidates running for Student Officer this year. So we have Emily Jane Aldridge-Snell, Charlotte Baker, Sophie Born, Stuart Evans, Aaron Eugene Ebrahim, Darren Pattes, and Chloe Robbins. You also have R.O.N, which stands for Reopen Nominations, and that is also an option you can select. So moving on to the speeches. For all the speeches, we will be going in alphabetical order by surname. So once their 90 seconds is up, I will say time candidate, and candidates must stop speaking when they hear this. So your first Student Officer candidate is Emily Jane Aldridge-Snell.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I am running to be your Student Officer. So why should you vote for me? If I am elected as your Student Officer, I will ensure every student feels as if they have a voice, that they feel listened to, and I will use your voices to shape my work. With previous experience in the STARS programme, as well as being captain of a sports team, I am no stranger to acting in a professional manner, understanding the importance of confidentiality and ensuring all voices are heard. Mental health and well-being of students is a high priority of mine, even more so due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I pledge to support students with their struggles. During my time as a student officer, I will dedicate myself to supporting students' well-being. With campaigns such as Student Listeners and increased student recharge days, there will be an open opportunity for students to acknowledge and discuss their mental well-being. I will also increase the representation of non-sports teams by increasing the engagement between the student union and society committee members and organising periods of time dedicated to promoting our various societies. I will ensure that there is an equal opportunity and recognition for all. I will also encourage students to get involved with the amazing opportunities which are on offer here at the University of Winchester. I will ensure all groups get equal and fair recognition from the student union. By voting for me, you are voting for positive changes to be made within the student union, and most importantly, all students will feel listened to, and your voices will contribute to shaping my work and the work of the student union as a whole. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Emily Jane. Your next Student Officer candidate is Charlotte Baker.
Hi, I'm Charlotte and I'm running to be one of your student officers in this election. I'm a second year student studying drama and the current student voice assistant at Winchester Student Union, where I work closely on the STAR scheme and representing student voice. Why I should be elected as your student officer is I have an undeniable passion for student voice and getting students the full university experience they deserve. I pledge to improve 4 key areas. 1. Student voice. I want to reduce STAR's isolation with social events within the scheme and promote the scheme university-wide. 2. Student support. I want to promote the Advice Centre and make sure there is a focus in the next academic year on students' mental health due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 3. Open line of communication. I want to introduce regular officer updates and make sure I'm available to all for discussions on how to improve your university experience. And 4. Growth university-wide. I want to grow sustainability, endeavour for students to get a full university experience post-pandemic, work on the idea of a 2-week freshers and champion to have more events throughout the year. For more information, please look on the website for my full manifesto, or for regular updates from me, please check out my social media. I believe my pledges are realistic and accurate to what students need. You can trust me to deliver this as your student officer. I hope I can count on your vote. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Charlotte. So your next Student Officer candidate is Sophie Born.
Hello, my name is Sophie Born. I'm a second year history student and I'm running to be one of your student officers. Since I first came to Winchester, I've gotten involved with as many opportunities as possible, including being the student rep for my course, taking part in volunteering through the Winchester Hub, and joining in with a broad range of events, as well as re-establishing the History Society this year. Now, I want to step up and represent you, making sure that the voices of all students are heard within the Student Union. I will act as a representative for societies, ensuring that they are able to access as much support and resources from the union as they need to successfully run their group. I will also work collaboratively with the rest of the student executive to make the Student Union an inclusive and welcoming place for all students, including those who are underrepresented, such as mature students, commuting students, and student parents. To do this, I will listen directly to these groups and work alongside them to create recommendations for activity groups and the events teams so that we can all work together to make the Student Union more accessible for these students. So remember, a vote for Sophie is a vote for more support for societies and an inclusive union for everyone. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sophie. Your next student officer candidate is R.O.N. Ebrahim.
Hello everyone, and my name is R.O.N. Ebrahim, and I'm running for student officer. I am a first year marketing student, a BAME ambassador, and I'm also on the Student Advisory Council as well. I've been to many senior meetings with the SMT and Student Union in the last year, and it has been excellent to do that because I am ready now to step into the democratic system and give you guys control of your mental health systems, your education system, and most importantly, more control in your society clubs, which will have more representation and more diversity that will unite, build coalitions, bring people together, and make our unity stronger, more sustainable, and united going forward in our country and for local communities that want to attend our great campus and attend and be a part of our great society, be a part of our great education systems, and get great jobs, build strong family connections with us as well, because we are Winchester, and your vote is my voice, and your vote is for democracy and for a pragmatic, strong, and flexible leader that will lead you forward to victory. Thank you.
Thank you, R.O.N. Your next student officer candidate is Darren Pattis.
Hi, so I'm Darren, and I am a third year theology student and planning to return in the autumn to do a MA. So I've been on the Student Advisory Council with the SMT and helped shape a lot over the last few months, especially with the pandemic, etc. So for me, the main areas that I would be looking at and pledge to help is to improve Winchester University as a whole. It's already an excellent university, and if there's anything that can make it just a little bit more for new students that are coming in and the students at the moment, then I'm going to pledge to help those ideas reach the people they need. The three areas that I really want to concentrate on is equality, accessibility, and welfare. I want everybody to feel that they are equal within the university, every part of the university is accessible, and that your welfare, whether it be mental health or other personal health, that your personal well-being is our essential key place for you to get help. So a pledge for me is a pledge to help you with accessibility, welfare, and equality through the university.
Thank you, Darren. Your next student officer candidate is Chloe Robbins.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe and I'm running for student officer. I decided to run for student officer as I wanted to make an impact and give those who feel overlooked or isolated a voice. I'm already a student representative for my course, but I feel as though I could do more. I want to work alongside the student union as I strongly agree with their values, as they are driven by empowering students and ensuring their voices are heard. I feel very lucky to be able to run in this campaign this year and will try my hardest to win the students of Winchester over. You're probably wondering why you should vote for me. I like to think that I'm a friendly and outgoing person, and given the opportunity to be a student officer would mean a lot to me, and I would ensure that everyone is valued and respected. A vote for me is a vote of confidence. I want to be the supportive person you feel you can go to no matter what, and any issues that you ever have will be heard. My main priorities are increasing a focus on mental health and new support systems for it. I would also like to ensure that next year is full of social events, as after a tough year of university, we all deserve a break. And I feel as though social events, such as freshers for those who missed out, will help create new social bubbles, and it has been difficult to connect with people during lockdown. As a student officer, I would ensure to take my responsibilities seriously and try and make as much change as I can. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Chloe. So thank you to all of our student officers and officer candidates for your speeches, and that brings the speeches to a close. So if all candidates could now switch on their cameras. And while we're doing that, it's really important to note as a voter that our elections are undertaken using a single transferable vote system. So this means that when you vote, you'll be able to rank the candidates in order of your preference. So for student officer, we have 5 available posts. So it's really important not just to think about who your favourite candidate is, but also who your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th preferences are. So moving on to the Q&A, the order for candidates to answer the questions this evening has been chosen at random, and they will have up to 1 minute each to respond. So we received a pre-submitted question from a first-year psychology student who was concerned about the many difficulties and restrictions students have faced over the last year or so. So candidates, your question is, as a student officer, how will you ensure the student union responds to student need post-COVID? Chloe, could you start us off with your response to that question, please?
Yeah, as student officer, I would like to hope to have some kind of freshers next year so we can do the social aspect of uni, because I feel like a lot of people have missed out making connections and making friend groups outside of their flatmates. I will also ensure that there's some form of support for people who are still suffering with maybe people who have lost people due to COVID, or people who have medical conditions who find it really tough. And I think mental health is still really important. So I'll try and increase support for that too.
Thank you, Chloe. And Aaron Eugene?
Hello, so to improve mental health going forward, we will have more exercise videos from our student union to engage with our students, to unite and bring back physical health and bring back the mental health and unite us as a collective. And not only will we have more Zoom meetings with our students, we will have more campaigns that discuss mental health, like we've seen in previous years with men's mental health and many others. If we continue on that journey, we will build a strong coalition with struggling students through this period. Because I get how they feel. I get how they feel about online learning, how they feel about not seeing their friends as much. And I think we should introduce a more social bubbles online so people have more time to interact with each other during that period, because it is no good sitting in your room on your own, studying constantly without interacting with your loved ones and with not your friends, your best friends, anyone that you fall in love with.
Oh, apologies, I was on mute there. Thank you, Aaron. Charlotte?
As a student officer, I would respond to students' needs by mainly, because you're a student officer, you're also doing your studies at the same time as well. And so you're kind of on both sides of the table, if you like. You're a student, so you're experiencing yourself, but you're also in these university meetings, talking with SMT, talking with the whole executive committee. And I think that's so important, because that makes sure you can really represent students' viewpoints and their needs. Also, possibly being a student officer, you might get more informal feedback, and so students' viewpoints will really be represented because they'll feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you. So I think that's really important.
Thank you, Charlotte. Next up, Darren.
Yeah, so for me, I've just wrote my dissertation, which was all to do with COVID-19. And for me, it's been difficult with mental health and looking at people's losses, people that's been affected by COVID-19. And the stresses that everybody's under, living under one roof, not being able to go out, homeschooling, it's a stressful time. So for me, as a student officer, it's really going to be important that when we come back to university as a campus, as a whole, that there are places where you can go and seek help for any concerns that you have, for lost ones, for people that's infected by the virus, anything to do with COVID or post-COVID. You know, there is going to be areas that you can go to and seek help. And I pledge to really help signpost those areas so that you know exactly where to go to.
Thank you, Darren. Next up, Emily Jane.
As a student officer, I would put a higher emphasis on the student union promoting how important it is to look after your mental health and to open the lines of communication. So I would like to use the campaigns such as student listeners and like student recharge days just to just to influence people to get talking about mental health. And this is a situation that has affected us all, and we get all in this together. So I think that's a very, very important thing to make, as well as having social events for past graduates that have left us, as well as freshers, but also for the whole of university, because this is an incredibly isolating time, and I do understand that. And if we are not able, fingers crossed we are, to be in person as we wish with these events, I would like to implement more social online events to allow people to have the social connection that we're all missing.
And finally, Sophie.
Yeah, so as a student officer, I think it's really important in terms of student need to actually ask students what specifically they would like. One of the main things I would like to do as a student officer is to reach out to those underrepresented groups in particular, as well as the wider student body, just to hear what it is that they feel is preventing them from getting involved, what they would like to see from the union. You know, I personally don't really like doing Zoom calls and stuff at the moment. I find it very stressful, very difficult to see who's talking. So actually listening to what students want and making sure that we engage with their specific need. So I would probably look to do some kind of survey of students, asking what they wanted from their union. And then based on that, I'd like to make an action plan with the rest of the officers for how we can make sure we tick all of those boxes. Obviously, it will include all of the things that the others have spoken about, social events, you know, mental health, all those things are super important. But I think before we can start implementing those, we need to ask the students, what do you need?
So thank you very much to all of our student officer candidates this evening, and thank you for watching our candidate Q&A online this year. I remind you that voting opens tonight at 9 p.m, so be sure to check your Unimail email, which is where you'll receive a direct link to cast your vote. Or you can visit our website, which is on the screen here. You can go to winchesterstudents.co.uk/vote. In the comment section of this video, we have posted a link to each of the candidate pages on our website, so you can check out our manifestos and find out more. So that's the end of our Q&A for this evening. Do be sure to check out the other videos. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and stay safe.